Great day to be a Bulldog. All right, one thing happened. I was talking to Hockey today. I want y'all to hear this because I thought it was pretty dang good. He was talking to one of your teammates when your teammates was just feeling kind of rough. He said, Hock, I ain't used to losing, man. I ain't used to losing. He said, well, if we were undefeated, what would you be thinking today? What would you be focusing on? He said, I'd probably be focusing on getting better. That's what you got to do. So if you try to figure out how to act today, let's get better today. Everything we do. Scouts, I know I say it all the time, but I can promise you, we need the help. We need the look. We need a great look so we have a great game. We need y'all. All right, first thing up, PAT field goal. We got 8 of those kicks, and we got pride. Everybody ready to go? Yes, sir. All right, let's get a break. Let's get a break. Dogs.
Everybody, and welcome to Inside Georgia Football with head coach Mark Richt. I'm Chuck Dowdle, and the Dogs back home in Athens between the hedges against the Kentucky Wildcats, another SEC East opponent for the Dogs this week, and that means a week of preparation and a big game for Georgia. We got great features for you today, including tight ends coach John Lilly. We've got him all mic'd up. We're going to go beneath the helmet with a University of Georgia football player who's already been a professional in another sport and now has changed sports and playing football for the Dogs. You won't want to miss that. We'll have highlights of the Dogs and the Cats between the hedges and, of course, post-game reaction with the players and the head coach himself. That's all straight ahead on Inside Georgia Football with head coach Mark Richt.
Inside Georgia Football is presented by Georgia's own credit union. Bank, borrow, invest. And brought to you in part by Georgia Lottery. That winning feeling doesn't come if you don't play. Play Georgia's own Jumbo Bucks Lotto with jackpots starting at $1 million. This segment is brought to you by Academy. Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day.
From Columbus to Atlanta, various media outlets made their way to Athens in preparation for Kentucky coming into town this weekend.
The goal is to win out. You always want to win every game. You don't go into each game with a losing mindset, but right now we're just trying to win out.
Their offense sort of reminds me of a little bit of the way Tennessee's system is, and we just have to have guys to focus on their responsibility. If it's a responsibility to take the quarterback, take the quarterback. If it's a responsibility to take the dive, take the dive. Really think we have to play sound fundamental defense and focus on the keys if we want to come out on top this Saturday.
They are talented and make a lot of explosive plays. That's for sure. That's just for me watching. I haven't had enough time to fully dissect everything that they do. We just started preparation yesterday. But from what I've seen throughout the year, they are a very talented team.
Questions quickly turn from Kentucky to what's left with this season. The answer across the board was plain and simple: to fight and finish.
Give it your all, because, that's just a man's responsibility. You don't give up when things get tough. You got to keep fighting through it and just do what you can.
Now it's not hard for motivation because it's the game of football. It's the game that we love to play. We chose to play this game, this football. At the end of the day, it's still football, so we still going to come out here and play football. Football is about playing the game, having fun. And if you lose sense of that, you lose sense of why you're really playing. Some of the goals we set out at the beginning of the season might not be obtainable right now, but we still can be defined by the way we finish.
Coach Richt echoed the message with just a few simple words.
We're Georgia. We're a team. We work together. We're going to fight. We're going to fight together.
In recent years, the Georgia Bulldogs have been known as Tight End U. And the man that coaches those tight ends, John Lilly.
You never talk to me until I'm mic'd up. Trust it. Trust your protection. Trust your protection. Out of way. Out of way.
Coaching really, first and foremost, is teaching. And obviously you're trying to tell them what to do and even more so how to do it, how to get it done, because it's one thing for a guy to know his assignments, it's another thing for him to know how you want to execute his assignments. And then it goes beyond just the feel, hopefully, in the tight end room.
Drop, step, and stick it. Set, hut. There you go again. Good job with your eyes. Get your depth, Jay. Get your depth. Out of the way to adjust.
Coach Lee is a great coach. You know, he's always encouraging, always tells us what to do. And luckily for us, most of the tight ends, he usually doesn't get too mad and yell at us too bad unless we just really messing up that day. But Coach Lee is a great guy, and he reflects it on and off the field.
Speed, Jordan. Speed, Jordan. Use your gifts. Set, hut. That's better right there, Jackson.
He's not someone who's going to be in your face a lot. He really, he knows how to, talk to his players.
All for me. There you go. I could have got that one.
You would think he's one of the guys. Just being in our room, tight end room, we joke around, have fun, and, just makes the game, more fun, when you spend long hours here.
Well, I'm a really young guy, too, so, at heart.
Out of the way to concentrate. Out of the way to concentrate. We're down here. That's a heck of a job. That's how we started Tuesday practice right there. That's great concentration, great energy. It's a new day. We're perfect in November.
Coming up, we're going to go beneath the helmet. And if you love the Boston Red Sox, you're going to love this next feature.
This segment is brought to you by Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy.
An idea or vision that is created in your imagination. That's the definition of a dream. As a kid, we all have dreams. Dreams of being a firefighter or an astronaut, or the most elusive, a professional athlete.
Nick Moore, also here a year ago at first base, batting 8th.
Pitch to the plate, Moore drills it right field. That's going to be over the head of the right fielder. It's going to one-hop the wall.
For Nick Moore, it was no different. During the 2011 Major League Baseball draft, his dream became his reality. An 18-year-old kid fresh out of high school, he signed a contract with the Boston Red Sox on July 27th as a third baseman.
I wanted to play baseball as long as I could because that was kind of my first love for sports and stuff. And I always wanted to spend my life doing that, make a living on it, and kind of go that route.
When you think about your dream, you don't ever think about it ending. The possibility of it actually coming true is so far-fetched, there's no time to focus on how it could end. But on April 3rd, 2015, the dream, Nick Moore's dream, ended. Nick was cut from the team at the end of spring training.
It taught me a lot about me and kind of what I wanted in life and kind of helped me prioritize, the things that were the most important. I've got a bunch of strong relationships through baseball, and I had some of the greatest teachers in the world teaching me baseball, but also teaching me how to handle certain situations. If life's not going your way, how are you going to bounce back, and how are you going to be able to go at it with a positive attitude.
For 1,442 days, Nick was living out his dream. It might not have been how he planned it, and he may not have performed as well as he'd hoped, but there's always beauty in the struggle.
I can't thank my teachers and my coaches and my teammates enough throughout my career, shaping me into a man, turning me from a 18-year-old kid to a 22-year-old man when it was over.
Pitch to the plate, Moore drills it right field. That's going to be over the head of the right fielder. It's going to one-hop the wall. One runner's in, second man headed to the plate.
A 22-year-old man, fresh off a short career in baseball, Nick moved on to the next phase of his life, the University of Georgia.
I didn't really have time to think about it. I got cut, and then on my way home that night, I got a call from a school, and it was I hadn't even been cut for 12 hours, and I was already getting recruited all over again like I was in high school.
Football wasn't the dream, baseball was. But now, football is the reality. In high school, Nick shined on the gridiron. That success led him to a new reality here at Georgia, one that some of his teammates didn't have.
It definitely helped the transition, having being able to have this as a plan. You know, I wasn't a lot of my friends that got cut, you know, they kind of go into real life and they don't really know what's next, especially out of high school. They're like, you know, one of my closest friends got cut like a week before I did, and I was just talking to him and he was like, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, I've never been to school, like I'm 23.
At 22, Nick is enrolled as a freshman and is competing for a starting spot on the football team. His teammates call him Grandpa, but Nick doesn't think of it that way.
You know, obviously I'm different, you're in a different scenario than most kids, but I enjoy being here. It kind of helps me relax. I mean, I took baseball very seriously, and it kind of got in the way of why I played in the first place and kind of made me dislike baseball. And now I'm just trying to relax and be a kid again.
Most of the time when we dream, we imagine that our family and friends will be there to experience it with us. But for Nick, a 20-hour drive from Georgia to Maine made that nearly impossible.
Throughout my career in baseball, like maybe 5 of my friends came and watched, and outside of my family and even my parents. I mean, my dad probably saw, you know, 20 games in my career, and I probably played close to 1,000.
Now, in this new reality, it's different. His family is here, both on the field and off of it.
We live probably 30 minutes from the stadium. You know, my dad's here, my family's here like every weekend. My brother just had a son, so being close for my nephew, you know, that's kind of a big deal for me, so it just works out really well. I mean, I'm a big family man, so I like being home.
We all have dreams, but sometimes the dream isn't how we imagined it. And sometimes reality can be just as good.
You know, I've had opportunities I didn't even think were possible. You know, I talked about it, but I didn't think it was actually ever a thing. And then, you know, for me to come in and talk to Coach Richt, and for him to, you know, believe that, you know, maybe I can make an impact anyway at Georgia, not just playing on the field, but, you know, anyway with my life experience, teaching these kids how to become older, you know, become men and kind of move on in real life. You know, it's been a big deal. You know, I know it means a lot to me, it means a lot to my family. My dad went to Georgia, my brother goes here. You know, we're Bulldogs, we live 20 minutes from the stadium. I mean, it's like, Georgia's been a big part of our life, and growing up here, I've been a Georgia fan, you know, my whole life. So, I mean, at the end of the day, this is like the best thing that could have happened. You know, baseball didn't work out, but to have this opportunity, like, I mean, it's unbelievable.
Highlights of the Dogs and the Cats, that's next here on Inside Georgia Football with head coach Mark Richt.
This segment is brought to you by AT&T, a proud sponsor of the Georgia Bulldogs. AT&T, mobilizing your world.
Man, listen, we get to do something that not many people get to do. We get to go in our world, in our arena, and that is to play football between the hedges, okay? It's to get between them white lines and forget about everything else and do what we love to do, trench warfare. We win the trenches, we win the game, period. We win the trenches, we win the game. There's no doubt about that. And everybody's got a battle. Everybody's got a battle, not just linemen. But it starts up front, we all know that. Tight ends, fullbacks, linebackers, safeties, even wide receivers and DBs, scrapping on the outside, trying to support the runner, get off a block and make a tackle in space or whatever the hell it may be. It's a battle every play. You gotta be ready for that battle. You got me? Yes, sir. I can't die. I can't die. I can't die. I can't die. I can't die.
On Military Appreciation Day in Sanford Stadium, the Bulldogs were looking to get their ground attack going. Having gone 9 quarters without finding the end zone, the Georgia offense finally ended that streak midway through the first quarter.
Terry
dropped the ball. He fumbled it, picks it up, runs right down the middle of the field for a touchdown. Wow. Well, that's improvisation, folks. He was faking the handoff, knocked the ball out of his hands. He picked it up on the second bounce and headed right down the far hash for the score. Cats jump off sides. Here's the punt by Bryce Ramsey. High, hanging. Oh, fumbled by Timmons in Kentucky. Cats dive on it. We dive on it. I think we got it on the second attempt. Georgia should have the football at the Kentucky 25-yard line.
The ground game picked up right where they left off in the first half, taking the second half opening possession in for another score on a 10-play, 52-yard drive, culminating with a Sony Michel 1-yard run.
Toss it to Sony, coming to the near side. There's a hole, and there's a touchdown. Sony Michel, a little jazz hands for everybody. Lambert drops back to pass. They'll set up a screen to Keith Marshall. Catches it at the 14. Keith down to the 5. Keith to the corner. From the 10, handed off to Brendan Douglas. Big hole. Douglas collides at the 4. Drives a man down to the 1. Oh, a nasty hit by Brendan Douglas.
The Dogs ended the day rushing for 300 yards on the dot. And Sony Michel with a team high and career high, 165 yards on the ground. Up next, post-game reaction. The players and the coach talk about the big game against the Cats.
Inside Georgia Football is presented by Georgia's own credit union, bank, borrow, invest. And brought to you in part by Georgia Lottery. That winning feeling doesn't come if you don't play. Play Georgia's own Jumbo Bucks Lotto with jackpots starting at $1 million. This segment is brought to you by Hyundai, proud supporter of college football and loyal fans everywhere.
Hey, how about them seniors going out in style in that SEC? We know we got one more at home, man. We know we got one more at home, but that last SEC home game is very meaningful, and I know the seniors appreciate it very much. But that's how you do it, man. That's how you do it. Feels a lot better down it today.
You know, the offensive line played really well. I think we ended up with 300 on the dot, rushing yards, and that's big for our offense. That's Georgia football. You know, being able to run the football and kind of, I guess, set that up first, and then kind of have everything off of that.
The noise pretty much made us stronger too. You know, we told ourselves as an individual we weren't gonna worry about like the comments outside of, you know, what was going on, dealing with the coaches, and I feel like that put a lot of motivation in us to, you know, come out and execute.
That actually made us come closer than what we were, and it really made us a family whole. We was already a family, but it just brought us closer and closer, and it felt good to be like that.
The bigger problem was just executing. Even on my part, I missed a lot of one-on-ones in the past 2 games, but, you know, kind of leave that in the past and kind of move on.
I feel good out there with the guys. I got full trust in whoever's out there with me, and we just kind of mesh together and do what we need to do on the field.
I feel like we played great, and I feel like we can even come better than what we did today. I feel like we still got a lot of mistakes to learn from, and once we learn from them, we can be a great defense.
It felt great. You know, all week been practicing and been breaking something in practice, kind of getting used to it. And today, you know, it felt like nothing new. You know, it felt like something I've been practicing all week, so it was no surprise.
There was a lot of support throughout the week for each other, a lot of support throughout the game, and then afterwards you could see, you know, the genuine hugs and handshakes that you get after a really solid victory. It was a good, solid victory that was good medicine for us right now. And we know there's still a lot of ball to be played and a lot of things that are going to happen before the season's over. But for this particular week, considering everything that was going on, I think the guys rose to the occasion and did well.
The Dogs finally with that offense clicking on all cylinders and looking to carry that momentum into Jordan-Hare Stadium as they face the Auburn Tigers next week.